So to all my friends in India, we have a very interesting journey ahead of us. I'll talk to it. It looks like the slides may not be coming up. I can speak to it from memory. If you are a student of history, you know this is our fourth AI high-performance compute wave. Some would say hype cycle. This one, well, here we go. This one is sticking. This one's going to stay around, and it's going to drive profound impact to the global economy. Go back a little bit. There, that's the slide I'm looking for. So we're in the fourth wave of technology. The semiconductor market globally right now is about $600 billion. In just 5 years, most of the analysts believe that's going to scale to $1 trillion. $600 billion to $1 trillion, with about 40% of that, which is $400 billion US dollars, being derived in 2028 by artificial intelligence and high-performance compute. Let that sink in. It took the semiconductor market 60 years to build the $600 billion in total sales. And in just 5 years, we're going to almost build that again as a global community. So I know what you're thinking. What does that mean for India? So let's talk about a few markets. Let's first talk about how the semiconductor market is going to be impacted. One of the big inflection points that I see coming to semiconductors is we're going to move because of cost necessity, velocity and time to market necessity, and 12 other reasons I don't have time to talk about. The chiplet industry will happen. It's already happened in FPGA and DRAM and high performance compute. It's coming down the stack to all of us, and it has profound advantages for those who embrace it. It's going to create a new ecosystem. There's going to be winners and there's going to be losers. And those that get into that ecosystem have a chance to become incumbents and leaders where they didn't even exist 3 to 5 years ago. So chiplets will be a huge market, and we're going to take that journey together, Tenstorrent and India, along with Qualcomm with Sabi. Automotive. I will tell you a story. I worked at Tesla for 3 years. I was in a meeting with Elon Musk. The technology that we deploy has to help people. There's no reason that technology is here if it doesn't help people. That's the ultimate reason why we do what we do. We sat down and had a meeting. I hope this isn't depressing, but we face the honest truth. We're leaders, and we have to face the truth, which is 1.4 million people die in cars every year. Those are the people that die, not the people that are impacted negatively by a car accident. We probably all know somebody who has experienced a life event like this. With technology we're deploying today, we were running numbers at Tesla. 93 to 94% of those accidents are human error, right? They can be avoided with technology. And we can take fatalities on the road with all the data we were looking at in 2016, 2017. We saw a lot of the data. We can take those fatalities down to 100,000 people. 1.3 million people a year will be living because of the work we're living because of the work we're going to do in this room and the products and technology we're going to bring to the market. I'm not even talking about the financial gain of making transport more affordable and more efficient. And I know what you're thinking. Keith, you're from America. You don't know India. And India has no city that has any traffic problems. I'm kidding. I was in Bangalore. I know. Not offending anybody in Bangalore, please. I love that city. But there's an amazing amount of advancement we can make in almost any vertical. The last vertical I want to talk about is healthcare, another story. I was sitting in a cafe in Tel Aviv. Next to me was a professor of biomedical engineering and his students. We started talking about what the future holds for healthcare. One of the things they talked about years ago, and it's coming to market now, we see it with diabetes and other things, was, Keith, nobody has to die from a heart attack. I'm probably getting the science wrong. I'm not a medical doctor, but the way I remember it is 24 to 72 hours before you have a fatal event with a heart attack, you're giving off CEC cell indicators in your body you're having a heart attack. If you can detect that, you can prevent it. You can get to a hospital. Problem is, we don't go in for blood draws every 4 hours at the doctor. So we need mobile technology, contact lenses, wearables. They were using HP inkjet technology at the time, reversing the flow, doing analytics. If we do this, we can save lives. I tell you, the killer app is health and happiness. I worked in a lot of markets, built a lot of products. I played way too much Grand Theft Auto 5 on PlayStations. None of that matters. Your cell phone doesn't matter if you don't have health and happiness. So us driving into the healthcare market and making sure all of us live healthier, longer lives is incredibly important. So there's some vectors or some industry trends that I think favor India's future success. This falls right into your core competencies and your superpowers. One is velocity. Everything's moving faster. I give a talk on velocity a lot. And there's a chart I use that shows the TV, the phone took like 72 years to get from 0 users to 150 million users. The TV, 34 years. Skype, 4 years. iPad, 5 quarters. I showed recently to our board the velocity of business and what we have to put up with, what we have to consider in our markets. It took, I think, scalar diffusion, like 4 days to hit 150 million users. These markets are forming and becoming multi-billion-dollar businesses before we could even think about changing the technology. India is an organization and a culture that can move faster than others. They can do that. I've seen them do it before. It needs to be a focus for any company that's going to win in this new dynamic. Cost. The real superpower of India is most companies stop developing their technology and problem solving before they get to the 4 billion user mark. India doesn't stop there. They take the technology and they do the really hard innovation. They take that $1,400 phone and they can bring it down to $80. I've seen India do this over and over and over and over again. I am truly, truly impressed by it. It's something that this country does that no other country can do. And if you do that, you're going to be very successful in these markets going forward. And then open innovation. There's too many monopolies, too many control points that are not beneficial to innovation, velocity, and speed that have emerged in the market. You have 3 choices for DRAM. You have 2 choices for CAD tools. You have 1 choice if you're trying to make a CPU right now in cell phone. EUV steppers, 1 choice. Modems, maybe 4 people on the planet doing 5G modems. We have got to bring open platforms to the market, more innovation, more opportunity, more choice, lower cost, more things happening in the market. So India comes into this environment. How are they going to win? You guys have a tremendous amount going for you. You have scale. You have young talent. And it's growing. There's a lot of countries that are going to have to put a lot of energy, like Japan, Korea, China, into figuring out where their future talent's going to come from. I competed against your best at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, and I'm exhausted, right? They're brilliant, they're hard workers, they're very smart. Many of them are my friends to this day. We've been friends for 35 years, and you have a larger pool of this and more of it coming than anyone else. You have a great educational system. We see it on stage. You have a geopolitical advantage that many other companies don't have. I tell you, there are going to be countries that choose to divide. There'll be countries that choose to build bridges and unite. History shows the ones that build bridges and unite are going to win. You're ideally placed to go do that. So go do that. A couple things to work on that'll be things we have to step up on as we collaborate between India and companies like Tenstorrent is you really need to put in the capital. This has become a very expensive outlook. Even when I was at Google for 3 years, when Google starts complaining that the CapEx is too much to deploy, we need government help, you know you are playing for high stakes. TSMC, $200 billion in investment over 10 years to make this technology happen. Steppers out of ASML, $500 million apiece. I was in Taiwan and they said, we can buy Navy battleships cheaper than we can buy 1 EUV stepper. Wafer costs going to $30,000 a wafer. Mass tape outs, 30 million. This isn't a poor game. This requires capital. You'll have to have capital win and attitude. Nobody has ever risk-reduced a company or country to greatness, ever. Look at the journey Reliance took. Look at the journey Samsung took. Look at the journey Texas Instruments took. I don't care about culture, economy, geopolitics. The right attitude, we're going to do it, we're going to persevere, we're going to win, no one's going to tell us no, we're going to put in the capital, we're going to work hard. If we have a bad quarter, we'll do a better next quarter. It's got to be something we do together to win. So real quick, in closing, I haven't said anything about Tenstorrent at this point. I didn't come here this week, thank you Rajeev G for the invite. I didn't come here this week to talk about Tenstorrent. I came here to talk about India, because our company believes if we help India, we'll do just fine. So we're a high-performance compute company. We build AI systems. We build CPU systems. We know heterogeneous compute matters. Software on top of it needs to run. And we're not going to be that company that lets you build $10 billion, $100 billion, $1 trillion into investment and comes to you one day and say, you have no choice but to use us. We're going to increase your price by 6x. Or we're not going to have or allow a government bureaucrat somewhere to say, thanks for that investment, India. We signed a bill. We don't want to do business with you anymore. You're going to have to switch your entire infrastructure to something else. That's not what we want to see happen. That's not good for anybody. So Tenstorrent, India, together, self-reliance. Let's go partner. Let's go make it happen. I'm really pleased to be here. I look forward to the journey, and thank you so much for taking the time to listen to me today. All the best.